What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Project Ozone Lite. Oh yeah, guys. So last episode we started working on some quests, trying to finish out those sections. Today I want to continue on. Now we did do the carrot quest last episode. Unfortunately, the quest has not been completed for me just yet. Still waiting on that. So the first section we have mostly done until we get into the Avaridia stuff, which is more endgame, and I kind of like to finish up the other stuff we have in the pack before we get into this, but we will do that soon. Agricultural Revolution, we're completely done except for the carrot. Endist, all done. Mana, the Botania section, done. Energistics, here we go. So last episode, I think we fought the dragon, right? Or was that the episode before? I can't remember. Anyway, so we had the Infinity Booster card, which completed this task here. And that's all we needed to do. That's going to give us a quarter of a heart. We can choose a loot chest. Let's do top loot chest this time. All right. So other things that we needed to do on this is make a matter condenser. This will allow us to make singularities, which we can do wireless applied energistics, like have the quantum ring set up so we can set up another applied energistic somewhere else that's connected to our main system. Anyway, so we need to make a matter condenser, and usually that's pretty inexpensive. Matter condenser. Let's take a look at this. That is really inexpensive, actually. Fluix dust, glass, iron. That is like the simplest, easiest recipe ever. All right, let's just craft that up. Done. Boom. Quest complete. Energistics section complete. Done. No, wait. Yeah, I keep clicking the wrong buttons. What am I doing? Back in here, let's choose top loot chest and done. Okay, so now this section is done. So we have 2 loot chests. Let's pop it. A diamond furnace and resonant upgrade kits. Okay. Nothing like super fantastic, but they're okay. So this matter condenser, usually what I do with these things is I will take a cobblestone generator like we have here and start exporting cobblestone into this, and then yeah, we can turn that into the singularities that we need. So one of the first things we need to do is get ourselves a 64K disc. You have to have a 64K disc in this thing for it to store the matter on in here, I guess the energy. And then once this bar gets full, it creates a singularity, right? So how are we doing on this? It is still crafting up. This won't take super long. Just gotta wait for like 13 more processors. I don't know. Is this the best place to do it? Like, maybe we should set up our own specific cobblestone generator tier 5 for that. We are generating cobblestone here. And you see the number going up, starting to compress. And then once it gets to double compressed, we go up into this one. Maybe we should start taking some of the double out of this and uncompressing it and putting it into this one. I don't know. These aren't attached to our network, I don't think. Are they actually? Hold on, let's take a look. Cobblestone. No, they all are. So we can see this stuff. We just don't have a lot of like the lesser cobblestone available. So we're going to have to take this and like uncompress it. I feel like if we do that with an external crafter, we'd probably be better off, or just setting up more of the cobblestone generators that pump right into this. I kind of feel like that's what I want to do. So let's make a cobblestone generator. So it's a bucket of lava, bucket of water. Perfect. We have both of those available. Then some iron, then some diamond, blaze rods, okay, and then finally emeralds. Beautiful. Okay, so we'll put this thing right here, and then we need to get our 64K, which should be about done by now, I would imagine. Yes, it is. Grab that. This guy, after we place down our matter condenser, this guy goes right here. Now you do have to press this button. Right now it's just destroying items. We'll turn them into matter balls if we leave it into this, which I think you use in the gun or whatever from applied energistics. Don't want that. We want it to turn this one. So that's storing the energy here. We need 200,000 energy to make one singularity. And since I'm not really interested in setting this up right this second, we'll just let this thing run. Eventually we'll be getting the singularities that look like this icon down here. It'll go up to a stack, and yeah, we'll just have those things available. So I think we're good to go on that for now. Like I said, if we need to speed that up, we can look at it. We don't need to right now, so everything is all good. Okay, So now that that's done, we can go ahead and move on through the quest book to the next section. So this section here, Generation Revolution, wants us to take the solar arrays all the way up, and Chaotic appears to be the last one. I kind of feel like we should hold off on this until we get into a Draconic Evolution, right? Like we can craft up some of these, but and then we have stuff for the big reactors, which we could start into too. We do need Ludicrate blocks, which is going to require a lot of plutonium, so we're going to have to get this reactor set up sometime soon. We might look into this a little bit later. Mechanism is the next thing that I wanted to work on. Let's go ahead and bust the rest of these machines out. Now, this wants us to make a few different ones, like a crusher. So that's Mechanism's version of like the pulverizer or sag mill, right? We have an energized smelter. Again, it's like Mechanism's furnace. And then we have a rotary condensator. This is a way that you can turn gases from mechanisms into fluids, or vice versa. You can also put fluids in there and get gases out. So if you have ethylene and you want to turn, the ethylene, you want to turn it to fluid ethylene, this would be the machine that you would want to use. Electrolytic separator. This allows us to take water and turn it into hydrogen and oxygen. I think you also turn brine into sodium and chlorine, I think. Anyway, and then we got the PRC, the pressurized reaction chamber, and this guy, you put in ethylene plus biofuel, and then you get the HDPE, which is this stuff right here. So yeah, we got a few different machines, and then we have these other circuits that we can make. I don't remember, did we make recipes for the control circuits? We did, we just didn't put them in our inventory. So let's do that. That's gonna be the easiest one for us to do at this point. It just wants us to have one of each of those. So let's do one of these. And then we'll do one of these. And finally, one of these. I think that is all the different circuits that we need in order to complete this quest. Looks like we already have an ultimate control circuit. I'll put that there. What are we doing? What's going on? Why did it not make... Oh, you know what? Did it use the previous tiers to make the big one? I did that in the wrong order. So we need to do the diamond one, and then we need to do this one. Whoops. All right, so now we have the advanced, we have the elite, and now we have the ultimate. So that should complete all three of those quests. So quests updated, circuits 4, circuits 2, and then we should complete circuits 3. So that's pretty easy. I already had everything set up for those. We just never put it into our inventory to complete these quests. All right, so those are all done. 3 more loot chests for us. What do we get this time? We get a flask of fleet feet, so that's speed 2, basic capacitors, and a wither skeleton charm. With the charms already, enough. All right, so all of those are done, except they're just going to go ahead and tell us that they're done again, or did they say they're updated previously? I'm not sure. Anyway, seemed like it made the sound twice for each one of those. So just a little bit more crafting here. I'll go ahead and make these 5 machines up. I don't think there's anything super special about those. Let's just look at the crusher. Crusher, yeah, just a steel casing and all these parts that we already have. I don't think there's anything special about those. Let me go and craft those machines up real quick, and then we'll be right back. Okay guys, so I was in the process of just about to make the first machine when I noticed that it requires steel for that steel casing. I was like, did we ever set up an auto craft for steel? You know, we never did. We set these machines up over here before and we got them all hooked up, but we never put patterns in like this one, which is our compressed carbon one, our carbon infusing factory. So let's start setting up some of these patterns. So we need to do iron. Iron goes in there and that's going to turn into an enriched iron. So we'll go back down. I'm noticing that these, for whatever reason, aren't making sounds every time. I don't know why. It's kind of bothering me. But yeah, we can put iron in there. That turns into the enriched iron. All right, so we got 1 recipe for that. So we'll put an enriched iron in this one. We have to do a processing pattern because the machine is processing iron into something else and giving us this in return. So then we put the enriched iron back in there. So we'll go back down again. And we put that right here. And that gives us the steel dust, right? So pretty easy. It just takes 2 passes through that machine. So there's our steel dust. We'll do that. Now we need another pattern that's going to turn steel dust into a steel ingot. I think we can probably do that over here using our redstone furnace. Yeah, it looks like we have free space. Otherwise, we can do the, what is it, the factory thing from Mechanism, the energized smelter. I think you can do a factory with this. I don't know how fast that is, but for right now, we'll just do it this way because that machine is pretty fast. So steel, and it looks like we made this steel right here. Okay, so we don't have a way to ore dictionary convert those just yet. That might be a thing we're going to want to look at in the future. So there's that and that. All right, so now we can come over to this terminal and do redstone furnace, and we can put this one here. I don't think we can look up the infusers. I think those are all called factory, and it's really hard to know which one is which, although I assume this is our carbon one since there's no patterns in it. So let's just assume, and hope our assumption is correct. Let's come down here and just look. Yeah, okay, so that is the factory. So if we want to make steel, let's just tell the system to make, oh, I don't know, how about 300 steel? So 300 iron is going to go in here. It should be evenly distributed. Yep, and then as the enriched iron is completed, that gets put right back into here since there's a free slot. When all the iron goes away, it'll fill up the rest of the slots there. And then we will start producing steel dust, which should get smelted over here. Looks like this is running, so that's a good sign. Oh yeah, okay. So how are we doing on the production? Yeah, we're doing like 3 different things at once. This could be faster if we had a few different machines here. One to turn the iron into the enriched, and one to turn the enriched into the steel dust. But I don't know if it's really necessary to do things like that. But we have other auto crafts kicking off, right? So we have the one, where is it? One of these. Yeah, no. One of these, this one. So this interface is telling our enricher over here to craft more of these compressed carbons, and the carbon is being extracted out and putting back over here. So we got a bunch of different auto crafts going on with this. Yeah, it looks like we're just making steel dust right now, which should be over here. Yeah, okay, so our redstone furnace is doing work. Things are happening. We should now be completing this a lot faster than we were before. Very good. Okay, so yeah, now we have automated steel production. All right, guys, so I went ahead and I crafted up all the machines that we needed to complete these 5 quests that I was talking about. So we have all of those here. We have a crusher, an energized smelter, rotary condensator, electrolytic separator, and a pressurized reaction chamber, or PRC if you prefer. So the crusher and the energized smelter, both of these can be upgraded to a factory. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So if I do the uses on the crusher, which you can't do here, let's do it this way. Crusher uses, we can do that. We can turn that into a basic crushing factory, and then we can do the same thing with the smelter. I made up a bunch of these parts so we can do this. All right, so then we can do the uses on that one and do the next tier. So there's the advanced crushing factory and the advanced smelting factory. All right, so again, we'll do uses, and is that the highest tier? That might be the highest tier. So there's the elite, and there is the elite for both of those. And let's just double check. Yeah, that is the highest tier that we can do. So now we have an elite crushing factory and an elite smelting factory. Again, I don't know if these things are like really good or just okay-ish. So we'll go ahead and place these guys here and here. Their interfaces look just the same as all the other mechanism ones. So we're gonna want to set auto sort on both of those. So when we put in a bunch of stuff, things happen. We'll want some interfaces so we can set patterns and get things going through those. Also, we're gonna want to get the mechanism upgrade. So let's do 16 of these and 16 of the others. And the speed upgrade. Yeah, each machine takes 8 of each one of those, so we need 16 total. Now, I was talking about when I was going up the stairs, it was kind of making the sound and not making it all the time. Yeah, it turns out reloading my texture pack, if you do F3T, or I guess resource pack or whatever, F3T will reload everything. It'll freeze up your game for like a good couple minutes while it does it, but that fixed the sound issue. So whatever it was, yeah, reloading my sound seemed to have fixed it. Anyway, so those are set up here. We need 1 cable, to connect those interfaces like so. Cool. All right, so now the only other thing we're gonna have to do to get this thing to work besides configure them is we're gonna need some item conduit to extract the resulting items. Actually, I think we need 3 of those back into an interface. So like that, so we'll do extract always active, and of course insert. Awesome. All right, so that's literally all we have to do. It might be a thing where we're going to want to put in the conduit speed upgrades, because being that these are factories, these can do a lot of items and these can only pull out 4 at a time. So we'll start backing up depending on how fast these machines go. All right, so energy upgrades, we'll grab both. Oh no, power. Is that what power? What are those things called? Mech. Let's do it this way. Energy upgrade. So it was called energy upgrade. I guess I was just blind and I didn't see where they were. All right, so we'll grab those like that, and we'll go into the upgrade slot and we'll put the energy here. And in this one, we'll do the energy. We'll wait for those to finish up, and then we'll give them the speed upgrades. I am kind of curious to see how fast these machines work. I don't really know if there's anything specific we need these for. There might be. Yeah, we'll find out here very soon. Anyway. All right, so there's the power, or I'm sorry, the speed. We already gave him the power. So that's going to increase the amount of RF per tick that this uses every time one of those goes through. I guess it doesn't really show on the tooltip anywhere how much power this thing requires until we put stuff in there. All right, so that's the crushing factory. So let's put, I don't know, how about gravel? Does gravel work in this machine? Maybe it does. If not, we'll have a mess we'll have to clean up. Put that there. So that distributes. Oh, yeah. So that turns into sand quite nicely. And that's decently fast. Decently. I don't know if that's faster than our signal that we're using. So we do need to configure this thing a little bit. So let's do input from the top, output from the back. There is no extra slot, even though that's available. I think that's just a common thing that's available on all the factories. And I don't know if we set this thing to auto output, does that go faster? That's right. Or let's do gravel. Let's do that one more time. We'll do one more stacking, or just to take a look real quick, because maybe it'll push into the conduit and that'll be faster. No, looks like we will need, well, that is keeping up. The default is keeping up. That's not terrible. Okay, so this will be the same way. We'll have to configure this one. So we have input from there, output from there, and then we need to turn all these slots off. There we go. All right, so we should be pretty much set to use both of these machines with patterns, should we choose to. Do we need a torch over here? Kind of feels like we might. I'll put one there anyway. Awesome. All right, so those are done. Now, these other machines that we have, the rotary condensator, again, I don't think we need that right now, or the electrolytic separator, but pressurized reaction chamber. Let's go back up to where we're supposed to be. So let's take a look at this machine. This machine here does require biofuel, requires water, and it requires ethylene, I do think. I can't remember. Actually, let's take a look at PRC. Is that what it's called? No, not PRC. HD. Too many acronyms. HDPE. How do we make this? So liquid ethylene plus oxygen. It is liquid ethylene. That might be different. Can we do Mac? All right, I'm spelling that wrong. So I think by default, when you make ethylene in a PRC, water plus hydrogen. Ah, okay. You get ethylene. This is actually ethylene gas. Now it says that we need liquid ethylene to turn substrate into HDPE, and the liquid stuff you get through the rotary condensator. So it's going to be a little bit of a setup here. I'll go ahead and get the machine set up and wire these things up real quick. We'll take a look at them. It's nothing like super complicated. It's just more crafting, really. And we'll be right back, guys. Okay, guys, so I set the machines up, and we'll go over that real quick. Just need to make one conduit facade here so we can finish this up. All right, so we have our electrolytic separator here, and as we saw, it takes water and produces hydrogen and oxygen. So our hydrogen is full, our oxygen is not quite so full. We're getting the water from an aqueous accumulator over here. We're just kind of piping it over, into both this electrolytic separator and pressurized reaction chamber. Both of these require water. So the pressurized reaction chamber needs both water and hydrogen, but you'll notice that I have oxygen in this machine. Yeah. So I placed the electrolytic separator down, and this thing always makes oxygen. Like, you're facing the front of it. Take a look at this. It always makes oxygen to the right and hydrogen to the left, just the way the tanks are laid out if you're facing the front. Well, I had placed it this way, and oxygen went over into this machine. It's like, oh no! The problem with mechanism is if you break the machine, it retains all the fluids and gases that are inside. So there's only one real good way to get the oxygen out of here is to make a gauge dropper from mechanism. So you just click it right on that bar. That'll take the oxygen stored inside of this thing. Yep. And then this will continue to produce hydrogen and oxygen. Now, this machine over here does require us to have the liquid ethylene plus oxygen. So we need to take some of the oxygen that we're producing over here and move it over. I thought I had the gas pipes on me, but I don't. So we're going to grab some of this. I don't want to connect it to this because I want to make sure that this doesn't connect to anything but that machine right here. And how do we get the oxygen inside using these pipes? That is a question. Can I not get through here to connect to the back? I might have to move this conduit, which shouldn't be a big deal. Except that it's not being picked up. That might be a big deal. Let's go ahead and do this again here. All right, so extract, always active. We'll put those in there. We'll do insert into this thing. Okay, so that'll give us a little bit of room. Does this pipe connect on this side? Okay, so it does. So we just have to wrap all the way around and make this look super ugly. Oh my goodness. Can I get our configurator here? It's interesting that the configurator shows the Ender IO conduits. I didn't know that was a thing that it would do. So you can press shift and use your scroll wheel here. We want to wrench and just grab that pipe. All right, so we want the oxygen to go all the way around here and into this machine. Let me just double check this. HDPE. So yeah, that says oxygen. So that's the gas, and then liquid ethylene, which is been rotary condensate treated. All right, so we'll place this here. That should allow the oxygen to flow all the way over into this one. Maybe. I don't know why it doesn't look like it is. MC multi-part. Well, anyway, let's continue this on. We'll figure this part out later. That should be putting oxygen all the way over there. Maybe if we just tell this to dump excess, it'll be doing something with that oxygen that'll be coming over here. Still not seeing it. It looks like it is filling up the pipe. The pipe looks like it's a different color. So I don't know. We'll figure this out momentarily. Okay, so anyway, we have the PRC. We need to put in biofuel here, which will turn into substrate, I think. And then that will also give us the gaseous ethylene here, which should condense and go over into this machine if everything is set up. So in order to make biofuel, that's what it is, biofuel, we need to have like a sapling or some kind of plant matter put through the crusher. So we had to make that crusher anyway. Is there any of these things that we have a lot of? Carrots, potatoes, looks like bread works. Rotten flesh, perfect. We have loads of rotten flesh. So we can put that through our crusher here. And now we're making all of the biofuel. That's great. I'll just go ahead and keep adding these in here. A little bit of server lag there. All right. So let me just grab some of those out of here. All right. So this goes into this slot here. So this makes substrate, and then it starts making ethylene. So I think I have to go to the gases side here. This does say output. Does this need a specific side? Maybe this machine has to be rotated. I'm gonna try that. Yeah, I think these are sighted. Like, it only allows gases on one side and fluids from the other. Is it set to wrench? Can I just click this? That doesn't appear. Okay, another thing, I need to make sure this thing is set to auto eject on the gases. On. Maybe it was right the first time, I just didn't flip that button. That looks like it. Okay, so the gaseous ethylene went over here. We turned into liquid ethylene here. Now we need to transfer that. This wire is really getting in the way, isn't it? We need to transfer that over into this machine. So on the configuration tab, we don't have anything that'll do that. So let's see. What about this? Input, dark red on fluids input. We might have to extract that out manually. I thought that would push it. Some of these machines like auto push and some of them don't. So yeah, that's kind of a problem. Yeah, it looks like that will work. So we need to move this machine over a little bit and get that to go into this one. Okay, after a little bit of finagling, we got this set up. So I elected to move this machine down over here because we're running out of room because of this guy. So we're extracting out of the side where the liquid ethylene will be with just an underfluid conduit and coming over here. I guess we can get rid of this and that conduit. So we look like that, right? And then I just hooked up our ultimate pressurized tube, but didn't make any changes, just broke the tube and brought it over here to this side. And that just went right in here. So we have both the items in here that we need. We do need a little bit of more biomass, I think. So let me grab, or I keep saying biomass. Biofuel. Now we made a lot of that all of a sudden. Yeah, that goes right in here. Nope, this one. All right, so as the two biofuel get used, it produces the ethylene, and then it also produces the substrate. The substrate right here, this is the stuff that we need in order to turn to the HDPE. So that just goes right in here, and then that uses both the liquid ethylene and the oxygen that we have and turns that into the HDPE pellets. Now going back to the quest book real quick, this says that we just need one HDPE pellet. Very, very simple. That should complete the quest. Easy. Okay, and then we also needed a bio generator. I thought that quest wanted us to make biofuel because of the icon. I didn't even look in here. So a bio generator. This thing, you can use the biofuel to generate RF, and sometimes, depending on the mod pack, this thing can be really, really powerful. So we'll take a look at that real quick. We should have everything. Yeah, that's just an easy craft here. Okay, so bio generator. This says it makes 280 RF per tick, which is okay. It's not fantastic, but we can take rotten flesh and then turn that into the biomass, right, or the biofuel, and then put it into these machines, and then it should be able to make a decent amount of RF. There is no upgrade slot that we can do. That's all it will do is 280 RF per tick. Now, alternatively, there's also the gas burning generator. I've used this before in a few different of my series. This uses the gaseous ethylene that we were making here. I don't think you have to turn it into the liquid. So it uses the gaseous ethylene and it burns that, and usually this produces way more power. So this might be a good way of generating a lot of power if you want to do it through mechanism. Anyway, so I don't think we're going to be using the bio generator at all. We're okay on our current power situation. That HDPE stuff, by the way, this turns into the sheets and these rods, and the sheets can be used to make plastic blocks. I've never personally done that before. It looks like we're gonna need this setup though. We're gonna need a lot of these HDPE sheets. So I'm gonna leave this the way it is, and we might set up an automation for this. Currently our applied energistics is kind of saturated right here, so I was kind of doing this manually. But since we will need some of those later, and a lot of them, we might set up a proper automation for this. But that's the way it goes. It's not a super complicated setup once you learn how mechanism works. One of the most frustrating things was me early on learning mechanism, trying to figure out how to get a fluid or a gas out of one of these machines. There is no like dump what's in the tank thing. Yeah, gauge dropper. That's what's going to get you there. Okay, so let's take a look at our quests here. We will claim the top loot chests on all of these. We have lots of these loot chests to go. I guess we only get one out of that one. Hopefully that's going to be a good one. Maybe it's going to be a special one. I don't know. Anyway, we'll claim all these, claim this. Our mechanism section is now officially done, which is great. Okay, so we get a chance icosahedrons, passwords shield, plus 60 knockback resistance. That's crazy. A growth crystal tier 1, zombie charm, 64k ME storage components. That took a minute. Spider charm. And finally, more chance icosahedrons, which we're not going to open because I don't want my world to be ruined. Put that away. I don't really want to use a shield either. Okay, guys. So we got a lot of good stuff done today. Just kind of like a little bit of crafting and setting up machines and whatnot. But yeah, as we saw, those HDPE sheets are used in some of the extreme crafting recipes. This is a thing that we would have to set up later anyway. So it's good that we got it done right now. But anyway, guys, that's gonna do it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to leave a like on the episode if you liked it, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye bye.